Okay, as I said, I have to come out here every morning and rip these guys off of my plants. These are hawk moth caterpillars. And they've got this little horn, which is actually a tail. And I don't like taking the whole leaf off of the plant, but sometimes I have to. So this is my jalapeno that they're on. And this is a pepper leaf that somehow fell off. So I'm going to try and convince him to come on to this leaf. And I'm going to deposit him on the bush over there, like I do with every other one. So I will be back. On my way back to the garden, I noticed that I have an African violet that my daughter has not picked yet. Yes, Anastasia is up there every day, and every time it blooms, she picks one. So without further ado, after work, I will come out here with some pruning shears, and I will prune off all this unneeded growth on my tomatoes. It's not that I like pruning my tomatoes, but when you have something going on, whether it's bug damage or fungus or whatnot, you want to get rid of that. Now I do have flea beetles and something going on here, so this is going to come off, and I don't know if it's affecting the rest of this whole little sucker right here, but I'm probably going to take that whole thing off. That's on the beefsteak. I've noticed it a little bit on the cherry tomato too, so I'm apprehensive about taking this inside. If I can find a branch that doesn't have the damage on it, I will try and root that. But as far as the peppers are concerned, I do not have any fungi, I do not have any major issues. I do have some damage on some of the leaves, but I am going to be pruning it back to take inside. So, it's not that bad. And the peppers on my Cubanelle are really starting to surprise me, because so far this season, every single one that has flowered, except for this big guy down here, has dropped right off. And now they're just coming out in abundance. They keep flowering, they keep making peppers. Yeah, look at this. Peppers and flowers, and it's like the jalapeno was. So hopefully I'll have a decent amount, and maybe I could pickle these guys too. The bell pepper made a really nice pepper, and that was it. And as far as flavor, it was phenomenal. Had a little hint of heat, but not too much, and it was really, really like bell pepper flavor, and it was juicy and it was delicious. So the fact that I'm getting a second one, fingers crossed, nothing happens to it, makes me happy. And I might be able to swing getting a second one, because this branch is about to open a flower as well. As far as the cucumbers are concerned, the curly ones are getting a bit curlier, and the long ones are getting longer. Yeah. Look at this. Pretty nice. 4 of decent size. Although, even though it's getting curlier at the end, the main portion of it is straightening out quite a bit. Yeah. Look at. So, and this one is staying straight, which is pretty nice. And I saw another one down here. Just don't remember where down here I saw it. Ah, right there. Yeah. So, I mean, I did have issues with thrip, spider mites, and spider mites, and possibly flea beetles. I'm not 100% sure on my cucumbers, but they keep growing, they keep putting out new growth. They're healthy, they just look like pooey. But their new growth looks a whole lot better than the older growth. I mean, there might be a little powdery mildew on it, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the plant, other than the thrip with the curvy cucumbers, but they're still edible. They're not going to kill me, and they're still growing. So, I mean, everywhere you look, there's new growth throughout the plant, even down there. And I can't really get in there all that well. So, and like I said, I have to pick this guy up every day. I don't do much other than pick him up. He gets eaten by caterpillars, by slugs, by just about everything, you name it. And he's putting out peppers, and I don't know what kind of peppers he is. Yeah, he's putting out peppers, he's putting out flowers. I think he stopped putting out new growth because he keeps getting eaten up, but for a mystery pepper, this guy's amazing. So hopefully I'll be able to get seeds from him and actually grow this pepper properly next year. We've got some beets, like I was saying, and it doesn't look like they're bulbing up. Yeah, no, they're not bulbing up. But I do have one radish that started a little bit of bulbing, and then it stopped. So I know the soil's poor, and I know it doesn't get much sunlight over here, but the fact that this pepper plant is doing so well, and it was a spindly plant because I grew it in my kitchen window without proper lighting, just the lighting from the window for all the winter. And this is what I got. But when Anastasia tipped off the top of this tomato plant, it literally put out suckers. 4 of them. And if I was growing this in the house, I would be ecstatic because I'd be taking off these leaves like this, and I'd be burying it up past the suckers so that it could have an extra super extensive root system. I've always wanted to do that, but I've never done it so far. And it looks like this guy's gonna flower. So we'll find out what kind of tomato it is. Yeah. Anastasia gets the fun stuff in her garden. And this is all from seeds that I had for a year. Maybe a little longer. So, yeah, I'll see you guys after work. Okay, now that I've given you an update on the bean pods, I want to give you an update on my compost alternative. Now I do have new stuff in here, but like I said, you put it on, it breaks down on top of the soil, and it doesn't rob the nitrogen or hinder your plant's growth. But what you want to do is when it starts to dry up, you want to break it up. Now this isn't fully dry, so I can't break it up, and I've been breaking it up best of my ability here. So what I'm going to do, like, you don't even see the cucumber leaves anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you over to the other pot and show you there. This is the jalapeno. So what I do is I lift up, and everything, you can see how it's starting to break down. I just sit here and I just pinch it and break it into smaller pieces to help it go by faster. And I'm not adding any more into these pots this season because I will be taking these pots inside, and I want this all broken up by that time. So the dry leaves I crumble up, and the soil will take them back. The smaller they are, the quicker it is. You just have to wait for them to dry up a bit. You just go through and just crunch. You hear the crunching, right? You just crunch it all up, and you make sure it's evenly spread. Now don't worry about the peels or the orange peels or the banana peels as much, because they're going to take a little longer to dry out. But like the eggshells, because they take forever to break down, and the more you play with them, the more you can make them smaller. That'll help with the process. Because if there's anything left on the top of the soil when I bring it in, it's getting removed. Yeah. So, I already finished it over in this pot, so I could show you how it looks today, if I could get the camera in. It's not that bad, actually. But this gets as much nutrients and organic matter in until I could get the plants inside. Now, even though this isn't going to stink, because it's not compost, there is the possibility of mold because it's not fully broken down. And I'm going to be watering it and keeping it moist. So I gotta break it down beforehand. So, I'll be back.